I said, hey, yo, what is going on, guys? It's your boy Mojados, and we back for another video. Hope you guys are doing well, staying safe. It is 10:43 p.m. and it is a gorgeous night here on the East Coast. Shout out to everybody on the East Coast. And yeah, taking a look here at XRP's monthly chart. We just got a monthly close, and it's not the best looking monthly close, but we're gonna talk everything about what we saw, what to expect. We're gonna talk about the dominance. We're gonna talk about the XRP BTC chart, how we can use all these different tools to kind of let us gauge the market. So without further ado, let's jump in. First things first, look at the monthly. It does not look good at all, right? Definitely looks like some type of triangle playing out, right? I don't know how that looks, whether it keeps on playing out as a triangle. But this area specifically looks pretty interesting. You know, you can even pull it back from here, but I don't know if that's where a triangle starts from, right? So, you know, definitely interesting to see how that looks. But, you know, for me, guys, it's pretty simple, right? If they come down to 25 cents, that is going to be my buy zone for green. Clearly, every single time it's reached there, it acted as a major support. And anytime price fell into that zone or consolidated, price moved off of it, right? And so I'm pretty bullish. Take a quick sip. I'm pretty bullish that zone will hold at least on the first try, right? So that's something to watch. And right now we're even trending in this area, which is quite interesting how long we've been going sideways. And to me, it just looks like we're range bound, right? So let me draw a range here. I thought this was going to act as a deviation. If you guys watch the daily updates, I cover XRP every single day, but on the smaller time frames. And I thought this would be a sweep, which is also known as a deviation, where price essentially goes sideways in a certain area, or a liquidity tap happens where it fakes out either short sellers or long buyers, and the market reverses. And clearly it acted as a deviation because what happened was price rose to 41 cents, but we didn't get enough steam to maintain that area to continue pushing back to the upside. What we saw was price breaking back down. And so is this range invalid now? That's a question that I don't have a confident answer to, but I was bullish that we're going to make our way back up to these highs here, and clearly that idea is being invalidated. So we're going to watch closely to see what happens on this chart, but my zones are pretty clear, right? 27 cents, 25 cents are going to be strong areas of buying. And I also believe that 46 cents is going to be a good area or a decent area to maybe de-risk a little bit if you're in a, you know, a short-term position that you want to just maybe distribute a little bit. But you got to remember one thing about the XRP chart, right? When XRP moves, guys, it's pretty violent. It's pretty fast. You can clearly see every single move to the upside is very violent. So, you know, I just want to mention that if you do de-risk anywhere, make sure that you understand that price point might never come back, or whatever the case may be. So yeah, that's that. And I also want to move over here to this chart that I have drawn, which is more of a range type of chart. I've also shared this in my last month's analysis, but we didn't get that much of an update again. It's been multi sideways price action, and you can clearly see here that the lows have been taken, the highs have been taken. The chart is pretty much wiped everybody out, if you want to call it that, right? And what do we expect? I don't know exactly how this unfolds, right? Do we come back lower again? I don't know. I don't think that's likely, because we've already taken the lows, and you know, we've pretty much hit the top of the range here, and then pretty much again are showing weakness at this moment. So what actually happens here, and that's the quite interesting part. I do know that for some of us that like to use RSI, we're floating in a decent area for the RSI in the monthly time frame. It's decently bullish, not super bullish. And on a 2-month, we're also in that same exact area where you could argue that it's okay, but we're on like the fence at this moment. But overall, like, I don't think that the chart is super bad. I think that the chart is fair. But, you know, looking at what's coming from a fundamental side, which I will cover towards the end of the video, I'm pretty bullish, right? Especially with the SEC lawsuit. But I'd like to look at time frames that no one is looking at, which is why I shared that monthly time frame. And then moving on to the XRP chart, This is also a very nice chart as well. This is in terms of market cap. And so it's clear that we saw 5 waves up on or from 2014 to 2018, 4-year cycle. And what we're watching now is that clearly, you know, XRP didn't get that full cycle like every other altcoin did because the SEC has sued Ripple, and then, you know, the SEC pretty much forced XRP to be delisted from every US exchange, taking it away from the most, you know, the biggest financial capital market in the world, which is the United States. So it kind of, you know, made it more difficult for XRP to try to get to all-time highs. But overall, I'm still kind of impressed with how much damage is done with the SEC. And even though it's still holding here, I think it's slightly impressive. Although, you know, it will be interesting to see how this ages. Of course, you know, it's gonna be fun to watch because this is all history, and we're definitely a part of it, right? If you're definitely an XRP holder, this is, you know, you're playing a part of history right now. So it's gonna be fun to watch. And so, what I'm expecting is that either from this low, maybe this is a wave 1 and this is a 2. I don't know exactly how this would play out, but this could potentially play out as a bottom, right? And the reason why I'm saying that as well is because we're falling on a 6-month demand zone. So if anybody doesn't know what demand zones are, guys, this is why I have that gray box drawn on the other chart. So this is how I have it drawn. Of course, guys, we can go lower. I'm always going to say that because I don't want to ever sound like I have 100% conviction, but this is an area that's decent to buy at because of all the horizontal volume, and every single time that it's acted in this area, it's either acted as support or resistance, and you can clearly see that playing out. So does this area hold? I believe that it does because, you know, we're getting so many things coming around the corner, right? When it's flare, we're talking about XLS 20 being activated. We're also seeing the midterm elections. Do the Republicans take over and force the SEC to, you know, give clarity to the market? A lot of different things that play out. And of course, getting relisted is probably the most important thing for the XRP price chart to move back up, which leads me to XRP BTC, which gives me the most hope, right? Ironically enough, this chart gives me the most hope that XRP is going to start outperforming Bitcoin. And guys, something to make very clear here. Just because the XRP BTC chart goes up doesn't mean that XRP is actually going up. It just means that it's outperforming Bitcoin. So what can happen is that Bitcoin could fall 4% and XRP could fall 3%. This chart will go up. But that's not what I'm anticipating. But I just want to make that clear because some people misinterpret this chart. And so with that in your mind, when we see this chart, what you guys see here clearly is that every single time a runoff takes place, you can see that these are violent moves to the upside. And so that is another thing that I'm watching very closely for because of all this consolidation. Look at the sell-off. Every single sell-off that we saw is pretty much drop and it subdivides pretty cleanly, right? You can kind of count these moves on the way down, right? And these sell-offs that we're seeing right here, this one specifically, like this is not really like super clear, right? And it's very interesting that, you know, this sell-off specifically is very choppy, very subdivided. It's not like super directional, if you want to call it that. And so it kind of gives me hope that XRP is probably going to start outperforming BTC. And we know that when it starts moving, clearly there's a lot of violent moves, fast moves to the upside, which again gives me that hope that, listen, BTC is probably going to move, but XRP is probably going to outperform it. And so that's what I'm very excited to watch for. The RSI here as well looks very healthy, so that is another great sign. On the weekly, you got healthy RSI. It's very high as well, especially coming off the lows. We're consolidating at a region that is pretty much the midpoint of the whole entire chart. You can clearly see that this line that I have drawn either acts as resistance or acts as support. And right now, we've flipped that resistance. You can clearly see that right like in 21 of February, active resistance, price pushed back down. Price came above it, and now we're holding above that resistance at the moment. So as long as we hold this area, that we can safely assume that price is going to move back up, because, you know, it's all going to happen in due time, right? Because you cannot stop the inevitable from happening, right? We know that this thing has been coiled up for way too long, and it's been because of the regulatory overreach, if you want to call it, from the SEC. trying to misclassify what XRP is. And there's obviously more conflicts of interest, right? If you go really deep into it, but not going to get into the details of that because, you know, ETHgate is a thing. And we also saw Bill Hinman get paid $15 million to promote Ethereum and not other coins. And right now the Ripple lawsuit, they're fighting over the speech because XRP is probably mentioned in in those emails. And so I said I'm not going to get into it, but here I am going on a tangent. And I want to talk about the last thing here. This is the Xrp Dominance Chart, which is very interesting as well because it doesn't have that directional movement. It's coiling. And this is, again, telling us that we're probably going to get a move to a certain direction. Don't know which direction it is, and the Bollinger Bands look ugly right here, but let's take a closer look. When these bands essentially coil, one can safely assume that there's going to be a squeeze of volatility in either direction. So I don't know like exactly how it's going to play out because, you know, when these Bollinger Bands squeeze, again, there's going to be volatility to either direction. And you guys already know that I'm pretty bullish on the overall XRP chart, so I'd like to believe that this dominance is going to get reclaimed. So let me remove this. It doesn't do a great job, but, you know, this is not like a super crazy chart for the Dom, right? Like I don't really use this all the time, but I think it's cool to look at if I'm going to look at XRP once a month and fully try to get into the nitty-gritty details. You know, we'll see how this plays out because, again, it's going to be real interesting to watch what takes over like the market at this moment. I just put up a BTC monthly analysis, so I go over the Bitcoin dominance there as well, which is really interesting that it's falling. And XRP is not falling like that actually. XRP is it's like kind of going sideways. When you look at Bitcoin, it's pretty straight like to the downside, and clearly XRP is holding up more, but also XRP hasn't had the same bull run that Bitcoin had, so that's like a fair counter argument to make. And so that's probably why, but we'll see. I think that within due time, we're going to get the move that we are expecting, or I'm expecting, you know, and I, of course, just to be super clear, I expect explosive moves to the upside. But again, nothing is guaranteed, and we're going to watch for XS20 on XRP scan to watch NFTs get launched, which will bring more utility to XRP, which will require more people to buy it, pushing the price up. There's a burn mechanism that also takes place on XRP. So a lot of fundamental reasons to believe that XRP is probably going to get ready to move from a fundamental standpoint and from a price standpoint. So we're going to see how it all plays out. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for making it this far. Please like and sub if you have not already. And as always, hodl, hodl, hodl. Peace.